unless I am a student, I cannot be a guru, I cannot be a teacher, I cannot teach my child even.
He will be a spiritual seeker.
Being an Indian politics coach, being a rather politician in India, you need to follow, if you want to be a good one, you need to follow Chanakya.
Raja Vidya iti Parama Vidya.
They get the opportunity, but they do not utilize properly.
Any leadership, Chanakya says, has got 3 stages.
So you become leader only if you are able to create more leaders behind you.
I've done so many interviews, but yours was the best till date.
We have been talking about many things in politics, how the politics to be done ethically. We have been taking many personalities, grey mind people on our podcasts. Today's episode is actually going to be a very special one. We are inviting the person who is Guru, who is master of Chanakya education. He talks about Chanakya, he talks about Chanakya's system, how he implemented, how actually he is the master of politics. He has written many books on Chanakya itself, and he has been a renowned speaker on Chanakya Niti. His name is Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai. Let's welcome him, Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai. Welcome, sir. Welcome, Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai. Welcome to the show, and I'm thrilled just because, I have read your books many years ago. Not just one, I have read 3 books of yours many years ago. And since, see, you have written a book, I have read it, I have implied some couple of things, I have applied some couple of things, I have understood, I have tried to make that being applied by others as well. Through that way, if I say to you that you are going to be a guru for me, this is my perception, what I feel, that whosoever teaches me something through books or through other mediums, it's going to be a guru. So you have written those books, including your Corporate Chanakya, right? Yeah, Corporate Chanakya. I have, let me show you first. Let me show you the books. What I in my iPad, if you can see this is a reading list. And
Wow.
I have already, yeah, all 3 I have read once. And the Corporate Chanakya, I'm going to read once again. By the way, I have read 11% as of now. I'll be reading it once again. So this is how it is, and this is for me. This is a bucket of books I have. So thank you for coming. Thank you for accepting to be here. Okay, so
I'm feeling thankful. I don't know I'm a guru or no, but definitely you are a great teacher yourself and a great student.
oh, so nice of you. Yeah, that's what I want to be actually. I want to be forever, because unless I am a student, I cannot be a guru. I cannot be a teacher. I cannot teach my child even if I don't learn. So I need to learn to even teach my child, to show the path to my child even. So
Right,
that's
sir.
what
Right.
I'm doing here. Yeah. Um, the first question I get in my mind is, if we need to create 1 hour film on Radhakrishnan Pillai, where are you going to start and the end?
The starting point and the ending point of Radhakrishnan Pillai will be the same. He will be a spiritual seeker. वो एक भक्त होगा, एक साधक होगा. So my life is only completely a spiritual journey. Chanakya happened in between.
Wow. Yes, spiritual seeker. So before starting your journey of writing on Chanakya, what you were doing?
So I'll tell you my background in short. Before Chanakya started, a typical middle class Indian who has been told, बहुत पढ़ाई करना, अच्छा पढ़ाई
Ah,
करना. You know, the only hope for the future is being a good student and getting good marks in your exams.
right,
So I was trained
right.
like that. Fortunately, I was a decent student. I'm not telling you I was a topper, and I did a lot of my education, I did my MBA, I did a lot of other, professional courses, and I was very successful in my young age. So, to one extent, by the grace of God, I've been an overachiever. I used to
Wow,
work in
really?
I used to work in multinational companies at senior management post. At the age of
Hmm.
27, imagine before 27 I was already part of a board of companies. So that was like God's grace. So when I actually had to come into a very different journey, that is when Chanakya came in. So what happened? One of the companies that I used to work in, the founder unfortunately died in a car accident, and I had many other options to go and join another job. But my spiritual guru, Swami Tejomananji from Chinmaya Mission, I'm sure all of you must have heard about Chinmaya Mission.
I know that.
Yeah, so he told me, why are you looking out for a job? Why don't you think about creating jobs? So I'm a first generation entrepreneur who said, let me try to now look at a startup. So I started my own company. And believe me, in that company, I want to apply Indian wisdom because the first company that I started was in spiritual tourism.
Oh, yes.
So दुनिया भर को भारत दिखाता था. And then I
Ah,
was surprised saying that why should I be running my company based on Western ideas? Let me try and look at Indian management ideas. And that's why when I was
right.
thinking, I was reading like you kept reading in your iPad. I started reading a lot of books on Indian management, and I came
Hmm.
across one person who's quoted everywhere as far as Indian management is concerned. That is Chanakya.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
like you did, I
Hmm.
started reading about Chanakya, Arthashastra. But let me tell you, I did not understand anything. मुझे कुछ समझ में नहीं आया. That's exactly when
Understood.
I went to Kerala. I studied the
Ah.
whole original Nitis of Chanakya in Sanskrit, and I started applying in my own business. And by the grace of God, I became very successful. And it's been 23 years now that I'm writing, teaching, and also learning Chanakya now.
So Chanakya is known for two things: economics and politics, basically. So, and economics as well do not work unless there is a right politics. This is what I believe, and not just I believe, even Chanakya says so. What I understand from his own, whatever I have understood him. Without politics, there is no economics, there is no finance, there is no society, there is nothing. There is a good, whatever the level politics is at, other things will follow on the same level. All right. Now, since you are teaching, and I am a politics coach. So, politics coach, I'm an Indian politics coach. Let me give you a fair idea. I'm an Indian politics coach. I have nothing to do with Western systems. So, being an Indian politics coach, being a rather politician in India, you need to follow, if you want to be a good one, you need to follow Chanakya. Without Chanakya, you are actually not following anything. Chanakya is the parameter. There only you should reach. There only you should reach. You understand and reach. What is your idea for today's politicians in the context to Chanakya?
That is an interesting question, sir. In fact, Chanakya is India's first political thinker who made lot of formulas for the right leaders. A politician is a leader of a society.
Hmm.
A politician is a leader of a society, and as you said,
Hmm.
everything depends on the politicians and the public policies that they make.
Hmm.
In fact, in Mahabharata,
Hmm.
Bhishmacharya says, Raja
Hmm.
Vidya iti Parama Vidya. So, political science
Hmm.
is the ultimate knowledge that you can have, because you can have knowledge of physics, you can have knowledge of engineering, you can have knowledge of medicine. But a political leader should have knowledge of everything, if not completely, but little by little.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
therefore, it is one
Correct.
subject that includes all subjects.
Yes.
So, as you rightly
Yes.
pointed out, if you want to be a political leader, you should understand geography also, climate change also, economics also, foreign policy also. So, you can't say, no, ye mera nahi hai. It is not for me. A political science is such a vast subject that you have to be understanding that at every level. This is what Chanakya said. And even for modern day politicians, I would always suggest, never take politics lightly, because if you're a good leader with good political knowledge, you can change the course of
Yes,
history
that's
forever.
what. And you have the option to change. It's a God's grace actually. If you have an opportunity to change public, to change the societal systems, wow, this is, I mean, it's a grace of God. Everybody does not get that opportunity. And by the way, negative problem, I mean, the problematic situation of this is they get the opportunity but they do not utilize properly. They do not utilize properly. They just try to get a lot of wealth for themselves. Here comes the Chanakya Niti. Whatever Chanakya says, I want this to be propagated properly. What do you think, what should be done to make sure each leader, each political leader, each leader I'm talking about, all the administrative leaders, I'm talking about all the corporate leaders, and then I'm talking about the political leaders. What should we do to make sure they follow the path of Chanakya?
Thank you, sir, for that wonderful question. In fact, I would say political leadership or any leadership, Chanakya says, has got three stages or three steps. The first one is before you become a politician. The second
And what's
stage
that?
is after you become a politician or a political leader. And the third stage is after the position is gone. So three stages: before, during, and after being a leader, a political leader. And what Chanakya says, if you are aspiring to be a politician, before you become
Hmm.
a political leader, first get the knowledge and wisdom of politics. Because if you sit on the
Ah,
chair without any knowledge, you will not be able to operate well. So, knowledge,
right,
wisdom, and guidance and mentoring before you become a politician. And when
right.
you become a politician, you still require the mentor and coach to take effective decisions. That's why Raja se bhi bada Rajguru hota hai. Chanakya was guiding a leader like Chandragupta Maurya. But the
Hmm.
third stage is the most interesting. A lot of politicians or leaders in the corporate world or anywhere don't like to leave their position. Kissa kurchi ka. So they don't want to leave. Therefore, Chanakya says succession planning. They don't want to retire. So Chanakya says third stage is you have to leave a legacy in such a way that after you are gone, the leadership continues in a better level. Therefore, we always say leader is the one who creates more leaders, not more followers. So all three stages are important in today's world also.
So you become leader only if you are able to create more leaders behind you. Then you are a right leader. Correct, correct, correct. If you are not doing so, then in that case, now I can say that in that case, if you're not creating more leaders behind you, you are going to be Bania. I mean, you are just doing for the sake of yourself. So you are not actually a leader. You are a bania. All right. This is what I'm giving myself, but actually he is not a right leader. Hmm. So you have got to create more leaders. That's fantastic idea. Good. I have received this. Yeah. And I hope, I mean, when politicians, if you want to teach politician today, I mean, I'm not talking about you, anybody. If somebody wants to teach something or give some suggestion to some MLA, he, in 90% cases, or he or she might feel, no, 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 I'm okay, I know everything, don't teach me, don't teach me. Yeah, I know, because of this reason I have become MLA. But Chanakya says, as per you, no. If you are an MLA, you must be cautious about taking decisions, cautious about your own activities. Means you have to have your teacher behind you. You have to have a guide behind you who can actually give you a mirror on time, what you are doing. Right? That's what
Right.
you. Yes, 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 yes. What kind of a skill you think a politician should have as per Chanakya?
So according to Chanakya, there are many skills you should have, lots of skills. And as you know, everything gets updated from time to time. So there are three
Right.
basic skills that you should definitely have. The first one
Okay.
is called intelligence. So राजा को
Hmm.
बुद्धिमान होना चाहिए. And let me tell you,
Hmm.
intelligent doesn't mean you should get good marks in the school. In our Indian culture, intelligence is called as Viveka Buddhi. Viveka Buddhi
Actually.
is the ability to understand what is right and wrong.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I don't have to take all the decisions myself. I can even consult the best experts. Since you are a political coach, if there is an MLA who can't take decisions, he can ask you, right? So if there is
Hmm.
something to be decided on climate change, or let's say
Hmm.
something on maybe real estate development in your constituency. I may not be
Hmm.
an expert,
Hmm.
but I can actually invite somebody to guide me. I can have somebody on my expert advisory board also.
True.
So,
Hmm.
so you may be less qualified than that person who is a master or a PhD in climate change or real estate. But you can at least take those ideas, and his intelligence becomes your intelligence. So the first thing
Of
is that you should
course.
have the quality of Viveka Buddhi, the ability to discriminate what is right and wrong by consulting the experts. That's how you become intelligent. Second quality,
Hmm.
very important quality of a
Hmm.
leader is application. Lot of people have ideas, but
Hmm.
and they have knowledge, information also, but कुछ करते नहीं है. They don't know how to apply the wisdom in a real situation.
Hmm.
Actually, if
Hmm.
you see in India or anywhere in the globe, there's always a
Hmm.
conflict between the politicians and the bureaucracy.
Hmm.
So what you need to do is that make sure your bureaucracy and the vision of the politician has to be matching, and you should
Hmm.
execute all the projects in time. The first is intelligence, second is execution, and third, very important, it is called
Hmm.
administration. And when I
Okay.
say administration, I don't mean paperwork. I don't mean
Hmm.
letters. That's one part of administration. Administration is a
Right.
big thing. And I can tell you there's a whole government machinery that is working with you, right? So you have a secretary, you have
Hmm.
a joint secretary, you have everything. Don't worry about that. But one thing he always says, for effective administration, getting things done, have your ears and eyes to the ground. So what we call as Jana Samparka. If you are not in touch
Okay.
with the people, the praja, you will not be a good administrator. You should be a good organizer, good administrator. And that's why, sir, you must have also seen all successful leaders have something in common. Not only in India, but across the globe. They have something called as, what we call Darbar of a Raja, open door policy.
Ah.
So people come and
Hmm.
meet them, or they go and meet the people. And there are so many communication tools now. So, if you are having a touch with the ground reality, you will be a great leader because you're not just listening to your ministers, you're actually listening to your citizens. So, it's very important of these three things. One is intelligence, then effective application, what we call dynamism, and third one is effective administration by keeping your ears and eyes to the ground by Jana Samparka.
Hmm. Hmm. Understood. Yeah. So these three are majorly the kind of a skill one should have to become an effective politician, not success. I think success and effective politician, both are
Yes,
different things. Both are different things. You
absolutely.
can be successful, may not be effective. So if you want to be effective, acha, one thing. Second, if you are an effective politician, you are already a successful politician. Then in that case,
Absolutely.
you have done your job. So start becoming an effective politician. If you have these three skills, you can become an effective politician.
Yes,
Effective politician, and success will follow you for
yes.
sure. There is no problem. That's what Chanakya actually teaches us. Wow. So this is these three. See, when I try to convince people what actually they should become and how, so I have three words for them: skill, knowledge, and attitude.
Wow.
Skill, knowledge, and attitude. These three things are. Now, in these three things, we cover everything. Three words, we cover everything. I mean, in attitude, everything. In knowledge, so when I talk about knowledge, knowledge are pieces of knowledge basically makes you uh, makes you an informed leader.
Yes.
Makes you an informed leader. So we must have a skill to create information, and we must have information to become skillful.
Right, sir. Right, right.
Skillful, right. Otherwise, there is no conjugation. And then there is one when we say attitude. Attitude is something which cannot be seen. It can be felt, but cannot be seen.
Correct, correct.
So when I show that what these three things are, so I make sure I show them an iceberg. So in iceberg, 90% ice, the piece of ice, is inside the water. And that 90%, 80 to 90%, is attitude, which cannot be seen. You can see only that 20%, 15%, or 10%, which is knowledge and skill. But you can't see that attitude. And without attitude, those knowledge and skill are actually not going to work. They will not. I mean, if they have to establish their knowledge and skill, they have to have a base of attitude. I think, and these all I have come to these pieces of knowledge only through you kind of people, because I have learned a lot of from from many books actually. So uh, okay, so next point I have in my mind immediately following your following our discussion is, what should we do today to make sure the next within the next 6 years we have ethical politicians on ground.
So the simple formula is catch them young. Catch them young. I'll tell you what, the younger they are, the more trainable they are. And as you say, the more you grow older, you got fixed mindset.
Yes.
If you tell a seasoned politician that ethical politics doesn't work, he says only that works.
Right.
So, you can't train them. They're not trainable.
No, no,
When you
no.
train somebody young, he or she may doubt. सत्य से और एथिक्स से, धर्म से काम करने से कोई फर्क पड़ता है क्या? ही मे डाउट,
uh,
बट ही और शी
uh,
मे स्टिल ट्राई टू एक्सपेरिमेंट, ट्राई करते हैं. बट दोज पीपल वर सीजन्ड एंड दे से दिस इज व्हाट वर्क फॉर मी. That is
correct.
what you said, something very nice. Politicians did not become leaders, they actually became traders. बनिया बन गए. और आप नए जनरेशन को बोलो कि यू हैव टू बी लीडर्स विद एथिक्स, जैसे ऐसा नहीं होता. व्हाई? बिकॉज माय फादर सेज. देन यू से ओके, योर फादर सेज इज अ डिफरेंट जनरेशन, वुड यू लाइक टू experiment ethical leadership? And then you require mentoring, because when they go to the field, I have seen so many politicians who are not corrupt, but they told that people come and give me bribe. एक बार नहीं, दो बार नहीं, I told 100 times, and they said, okay, let me try. So
Right.
when you go to the field, you make it corrupted, and that's why ethics gets challenged. And at that time, it is called dharma sankat. क्या करे कि नहीं करे? And you require a
Ah,
leadership mentor or a coach like you who will tell them, don't worry, I'm with you. Remember one thing, he was talking about skills. Arjuna had the best skills, but he was confused. And that's why he required Sri Krishna to guide him what is right and wrong.
fantastic. Yeah.
So the younger you are, it is better to teach them ethical leadership in theory and practice. And I would also say, we have done this experiments in our culture thousands of years ago. Don't even catch them young, catch them in the womb, catch them even before they are born. So it's called Garbha Samskar. So I'll give a
Garbha
small
sanskar.
story
Yeah.
from our Puranas. There was this very bad king called Hiranyakashipu. He was a Rakshas, he was very unethical, destroying everything, power crazy. So all the Devatas go to Vishnu and says, oh, he's such a bad leader, kuch to kijiye. And Vishnu delegates that to his one of his greatest devotees called Narad Muni, Narayan Narayan. He goes and says, okay, this person can't be changed. ये राक्षस कुल का है, अनएथिकल है, बट राक्षस कुल में भी, even in that particular community, you can create an ethical leader. You know what he does? Hiranyakashipu's wife, who is a queen, she is actually carrying a child in the womb. उसको लेके जाके ट्रेनिंग दिया इन द गर्भ. He started teaching them Hari Katha. And the child who came out was Bhakta Prahlad.
Ah,
And many people don't know that he was a great leader. Born in an unethical family, trained by a great leadership mentor, Narad Muni, along with his mother, and you have an ethical leader after the father is gone. And Prahlad is considered one of the greatest leaders and rajas in our culture.
yes. You have given a very good example, by the way. I don't know how, but it never came to my mind about Prahalad. This is a very good example that catch them in womb, you know, and this was done by this guru, and the guru was Narad. Yes, a very good example, by the way. Thank you for this example. People would people should listen and understand this. I mean, people should understand that their children, when they are 2 years old, 5 years old, in their womb, I mean, why there is a Garv Sanskar? I mean, they must know it, not just know. They must know it, apply it, know it and apply it. Garv Sanskar is a very good concept. Very, and sir, it's a scientific concept, sir. Now science is proving. It has already proved. It has already proved the kind of information, the kind of systems go in mind. I mean, when I heard somewhere Sadhguru saying, whatever you drink, I mean, you are drinking water, you know. So if there is a water and you have meditated with water, so the kind of meditation you are putting into the water, that meditation will come to your body and it becomes yours. It becomes yours. It becomes a part of your body, your mind, your spirit. So make sure whatever you are doing, I mean, this is also a kind of, Garva sanskar for me, for my body, it's a garv sanskar. I'm putting in something which is different, and it becomes a part of mine. So whatever I'm putting in, it comes in. Wow. So this is a very good knowledge. Wow. This is a very good example. All right. So catch them. But catching them is one step. What should we teach them after catching them?
That's again a very interesting question, sir. In fact, I would use two Sanskrit words. What you should teach
Mhm,
them. It is
mhm.
called, you know, Paravidya and Aparavidya. Paravidya means
Ah,
worldly knowledge, and Aparavidya means spiritual knowledge. You should balance
hmm,
both. If you only teach them
hmm,
spirituality, people will think ये तो कुछ काम ही नहीं करता है, सिर्फ भगवान का नाम लेता है. And that
hmm,
is why people don't like spiritual people and they think it is only for post retirement.
hmm,
If you only teach them worldly activities, they'll make
hmm,
money, but they may not have a
hmm,
spiritual attitude or ethical attitude.
hmm,
So, what is
hmm,
very important, if you catch them young, teach them both the
hmm.
spiritual part and the material part. In fact, I'll tell you something, it was a shocker for me when one mother
Hmm.
came to me and she told me my son has just passed 10th standard. Okay, very
Hmm.
nice boy.
Hmm.
Please tell me which is the good college for him to go where he can become worldly wise and worldly smart. You want to be
Okay.
worldly wise and worldly smart. तो मतलब क्यों ऐसा क्यों बोल रहे
Hmm.
हैं? He's gone to a good school. सब संस्कार अच्छे मिले हैं. Okay,
Hmm.
बहुत अच्छा बच्चा है. He's got faith in God and everything. But all I know that when he goes to the real world, people will fool him. उसको उन लोग बेवकूफ
Okay.
बनाने वाले. So I'm
Okay.
afraid as a mother that all spirituality is not practical. Please teach him a place where he can be practical and worldly wise. And I said, oh, this is the impression of spirituality. So, the
Okay.
real teaching should be that if a saint comes to you, you should actually bow down. But if an enemy comes to you, you should be standing strong and even defeat him. So, the training of a leader is to be practical in spirituality and being practical in worldly affairs. That is the wisdom that we should give them, and that is exactly what Chanakya also did.
So they, yes, and Chanakya did. I mean, yes, you are rightly saying, if you watch that Chanakya whole series, the old one in India, uh, that that says that how he was trained. He was trained in Ashwaroha. He was trained in weapon. He was trained on Shastra. He was trained on almost 3 4 Shastras. I mean, he knew everything, almost everything. And he was also trained on agriculture, by the way. He was trained on agriculture. He was kept with some some doctors, Ayurveda charyas, so that he knows how our Ayurveda works, how these things work, and then he can actually guide them through while ruling the system, ruling the kingdom. So that is very important. uh, from here, I can recall one thing. I said, even yesterday I had a meeting with some 35 40 people. I said them, there is one thing very important. Chanakya trained one raja, one king, Chandragupta Maurya. Today's situation is, we have MLA constituencies. Each MLA constituency needs one Chandragupta Maurya, needs actually one Chandragupta Maurya. Otherwise, things are going from hand away. Chandragupta Maurya is needed in every constituency. Today's situation is all right. So I think one thing, if we can just recall and see what we can, let's say Chanakya is alive today. Chanakya is alive today. He comes back. after 2,400 years and coming back and saying, hey, hold on, hold on, hold on. Let me take India in a different direction. What will he do?
He will exactly do what he did 2,400 years ago.
Hmm.
He will go and create, new generation of modern gurukulas. Remember, he was an acharya. He was called as
Yes.
Acharya Chanakya. And all that we discuss, he'll go catch them young, train them to become new generation politician. So I think the principles don't change because you have to change the system. The system will change you. So it's better you go to the education institutions and start teaching them ethical leadership. That's what Chanakya did, and that's what Chanakya will do even today.
Hmm. So today's politicians, today's existing successful politicians, so called, should be replaced with the new ethical politicians, but those ethical politicians must be trained, educated well before becoming a politician.
Absolutely.
Hmm. Agree, 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 agree. All right. So I think we have received many pieces of wisdom today, and I need a promise from you that you would be coming back again down the line 3, 4, 5 months, because we would be needing more from you to propagate. That's very important for us to propagate ethical politics. Nobody is talking about in India. Nobody talks about. So, is that your promise?
A gentleman's promise, a teacher's promise.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. So nice of you. And
So
thank
I
you
want
very
to share
much.
one thing. I want to share one thing. I have
Sure.
done so many interviews, but yours was the best till date.
Is it so?
You're
This
such
is today's pride for me.
you've been very
Today's
humble.
pride for me.
You've been humble, but you've been a great teacher yourself. I learned a lot of things from you.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So we both are going to actually propagate this. This is a very important. Uh, I mean, I need to propagate it in Indian subcontinent. That's for for my uh, Rashtra. This is important for for our Bharat Mata. So that's a very good idea. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And we'll again catch you soon.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful time spent with you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. हमने बात किया चाणक्य की नीति को पॉलिटिक्स में कैसे लिया जाए. हाउ द चाणक्य नीति, चाणक्य ethics in politics can be collaborated even today, even after 500 years later. Chanakya is the forefront of politics. If someone wants to be a non-corrupt politician, if some society, some constituency, some state, some nation wants to be ethical, ethically and politically well versed, let me tell you, Chanakya system is the only system to be followed. He is really, truly a face of society as politics. And that's what we talked about. That's what we discussed about. Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai was the personality we were talking with. Let me tell you again, rather let me promise you again, we are going to have him and many more great people, many more personalities in our shows like this on ethical politics. Tune in. Thank you very much.